Hi, I'm Galina from Parent Up, and I'm the founder of Born to Feel Magnets. In this video, I would like to introduce you to the ways how you could be using the magnets and how you could be working with them in your very important mission to teach your kids the world and the language of emotions and feelings. When you order your Born to Feel magnets, they arrive like this in two separate sheets. You will have to unpack some of them, whichever you feel your child is ready for, and pop those emotions that you want to start working with. So for example, as you can see here, we always begin with something that is very fundamental and very core. Happy, sad, angry, scared. These are the four most important emotions to work with. Just pop them out and start using. For example, if you're trying to increase their vocabulary by introducing the word like frustrated or curious, you can just push out the magnet that is relevant for your emotion and explain what this feeling means. For example, frustrated. When do we feel frustrated? When we see something not going the way we planned or we wanted it to go. And when we see something happening not as we expected, that's when we feel upset and feel frustrated. Or for example, curious. How can you explain this to the child? Well, it's when you feel interested, when you see something new you have never seen before, and you really want to explore it and see how it works, how it feels, how it operates. This is what we call feeling curious. Now, let me show how else you could be using these magnets. Some of the occasions when I find them most powerful is actually tantrums. Not during the tantrums, so definitely don't try to introduce the magnets during the tantrums, because they will become not a tool to talk about the feelings and emotions. They will become a throw-in object. So when your child is calm and quiet, maybe even a couple of hours after the incident, you can sit down together and debrief on what has happened. The push-out magnets come with two separate pieces over here. One says, I am feeling, and another one says, I want to feel instead. So start with a question. How were you feeling during the tantrum? For example, your child wanted to take a toy and play with it from a friend or from a sibling, and this other child was not really in the mood to share. So you can help the child to identify that most likely they have been feeling angry and perhaps sad at the same time. If you would like, you can increase their vocabulary by introducing another emotion, which could be you felt left out. After that, what happened when you saw that the other child didn't want to share the toy with you? Well, I grabbed the toy from his hands, or I pushed the child. How did you feel back then? Again, you can increase the vocabulary of a child by saying you most likely felt sorry because you really didn't want and didn't mean to grab and hurt them. You simply didn't have the right words to express how you felt at that moment. And of course, you feel sorry for that. And that's okay. As a next step, you would like to introduce them to the concept of choosing how to feel instead. And you can ask them, what do you want to feel instead? Most likely they're going to say, I would like to feel happy. Excellent. Next time, if you would like to do it again, but do it differently, using more positive and helpful ways of communication, what would you like to do instead? Shall we agree that we're going to practice a talking hand and a talking voice? Another very useful way to use the magnets is to develop child's empathy. If I were to use exactly the same example as in the previous story, during the situation in the playground, when your child wanted to take a turn with a toy, but another kid was not in the mood to share, and the child either pushes or grabs the hands with a force, you can reflect on that, either in the moment, just inviting the child to step aside, to take deep breaths and calm down, or a little bit later and ask a very simple question. How do you think this other kid felt? Did you notice on his face anything that will suggest how he felt? Most probably they will say, the child felt hurt and they can choose the magnets to show exactly that feeling that the kid was feeling. Also, the child felt sad. When you start choosing multiple emotions, you can explain to the child that very often we feel not just only one feeling, but several emotions. We call them mixed feelings or mixed emotions. And it's very common, very frequent, and normal to feel several emotions at the same time.